Bless up. This is your humble host, Big Truck. Hey, waiting for a few people to tap in for this night stream. One of the things that I want to highlight tonight is very simple. We're going to talk about narcissism. We're going to talk about how it affects each and every individual. Now, men go through it, women go through it. It's the quiet thing that people don't want to talk about or say out loud. So they keep it in and they hold on. They just hold it all in. But we're going to talk about it, shed some light on some things. Shout out to Miss Dr. Carmen Bryant. I've been a victim of narcissist abuse. I was married for 14 months with an individual, and I'm going to tell you something. Everything was cool until life happened. Once life happened and the mask came off, I began to see the person whom I fell in love with, whom I've married, for who they really are, for who she really was. And I'm going to tell you something. It was an experience that I've never experienced before. Also traumatizing. However, through counseling, helped me navigate through that. And that's one of the reasons why I started the King's Table podcast. Because if I went through this, how many other men out there that have gone through the same thing, or right in the thick of it, or coming out of it? Now, you will have some women that are in that same boat. And I'm going to tell you something. When I first started the podcast and I shared my testimony, I mean, the emails was coming in from men and women sharing similar testimonies. But with that being said, she has some things to say. I have some things to say. And then the spirit of the universe is going to take us home. So grab your shoulder pads and your helmet and let's get this work. Let's go.
You have those that are the cerebral narcissists, what are thinkers. Their pursuit is not, always sexual. Their pursuit is more cerebral, is in the mind, very intelligent. Then you have the somatic narcissist. The somatic narcissist is more into their looks, material things, sexual escapades, and majority of narcissists are very, very attractive people. Now, I have met one or two ugly ones, and over the course of time that I've provided counseling, but majority of the narcissists are pretty attractive. Females and male, they're pretty attractive.
Of course they are. Very charismatic. It's kind of hard for you to detect and depict. But when you listen and when you stick around long enough, you'll begin to start paying attention and start noticing certain things that you didn't notice before. Hear certain things that you've never heard before. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue to feast.
individuals, and they focus a lot on their appearance. The ones that are more over on the somatic side. You have the malignant, you have the covert, you have the overt. The covert is the one of the most dangerous one, and the malignant narcissist is one of the most vicious kind. And so the covert one is in secret because they present themselves as very charismatic, very nice. People really like them. There's no possible way. And they work very hard and smearing your good name or making you look like the crazy one. They have a lot of community support.
It's kind of like how, and I'm using myself as, using myself in experience to break down some things too as well, to give a better input and better talking points so that y'all can understand. If you're tapping in tonight, put a number 1 in the chat. Let me know you here. Like the video, share the video. This is a very, very powerful message because it ties into how a large number of women behave in real time, and to really pay attention and to really, really, identify certain traits, men. And again, when you know the type of person you dealing with, you will know who you dealing with, versus not knowing who you dealing with and you walk smack into something and then you'll be looking at yourself like, what the hell did I get myself into?
They're good within the church. They're good within the community. There's no possible way that this person could be doing this. Well, by the time the woman is expressing himself or the man is expressing himself about the trauma or what they're going through, the narcissist will always play the victim. And so today I just wanted to talk a little bit about some signs and symptoms, because I had a question come through is how does narc survivors, how do they identify and protect themselves? I'm going to talk about identifying. First of all, a narcissist is not easily identified. Now, there are 2 types of people. There are maybe 3. There are those of us that have been through narcissist abuse. Some of you have. You sent me your your emails. You gave me your testimonies. You told me about what you've been through. So some of us have been through narcissist abuse. Some of us for many years, 20, 30, 40 years of narcissist abuse, and have left the narcissistic relationship. So that means that you have some intimate knowledge that most people don't have. That's just like in psychology when they do research. They do research over a span of time with certain participants, and they monitor and they have them to answer questionnaires and they watch them. That's all good and well. And that's good for the world of psychology.
How many of you men and women been in that situation where you've been married to an individual that was a narcissist and that was abusing you? To me, narcissist abuse is worse than physical abuse. Abuse, period, is wrong, granted. But when you look at an individual that's a narcissist and you are married to that individual, and the depths that individual will go through to assassinate your character, to disrespect you, to hurt you mentally and emotionally, and then drain you of all of that to where you are weak and depleted, to where you have nothing left. Because all of yourself was taken by an individual with no feeling, no emotions.
Presenting information and statistics. But what about the people that have lived their lives with a narcissist? They know details that sometimes research doesn't tell you. There are some things that I agree with, and there are some things that I don't agree with within research, because like I said, the length of time you've been in a relationship with a narcissist gives you insight, one-on-one insight on it. It's almost like living a reality show on a daily basis. To live this day by day, 24 hours a day, 24, what is it, 56, 52 weeks in a year, 365 days of the year, you've become the best researcher and the best person to provide feedback about the behaviors of a narcissist. Now, you may be speaking of your experience, which is very...
And like I said, I'm speaking of my experience because I've never heard of narcissists. I've never heard of it before until I went through it. And when I went through it and the outcome of it, it was almost like I never want to marry again. I never want to deal with this type of person again. It was an eye-opener because the more that I seek counseling, I was able to see everything. And another thing, a narcissist don't like it when you expose them. Oh, they get real triggered when you expose them and that mask come off and you see them for who they really are. Because while they was with you, they were wearing a mask. While they were with you, they had you thinking you was this person. And you wasn't. It was all a facade. It was all for show. Especially if you are with someone and they're an entertainer. That makes it worse.
Similar to someone else's experience, and then you're the individual that you were attached to, African American, Native Indian, Native American, whatever nationality, also have their own cultures, come from their own, you have the Southern man or Southern woman, you have the Northern women, you have the East Coast, you have the West Coast, so each of you have those that are in Muslim countries, you have those that are in the Christian countries, you have those Hindis, you have those that are Buddhists. So each person comes from different walks of life. So each person has their own characteristics, but the symptomology of narcissist is the same. Now, you have those that have the actual diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, and you have those that have narcissistic traits. Those are less severe, but they're bad. And the narcissistic personality disorder, also depending on what type of narcissists are.
Now, you might be asking, where does all this come from? Like I said, an individual's behavior, it always goes back to their childhood. What happened to them? What did they see? What was said to them? And so forth. Paraphrasing. What type of trauma took place? Were they touched? All of these things, it goes back. And if that individual had experienced those things of which I mentioned and they didn't get help, well, like a lot of people do with their childhood problems, with their childhood situations, with their unresolved childhood trauma, they lock it away in the safe. They put it in the closet. Every now and then certain things will come out and it will show up in their social life, their love life, which gives you the indication this person went through some shit and this person never got healed from it. Now this person is lashing out. What did I get myself into? Why did I marry this person? Why did I get this person pregnant? Oh my gosh.
Is from severe to severe. There we go. We just put it like that. To bad to worse. Okay, so now you have those people that have experienced narcissist abuse for many, many, many years. There are certain things that we recognize, in people immediately because we've been exposed to it for a long period of time. If you've never had a dog before, you don't understand the language of a dog. You don't understand the characteristics of a dog. You can tell me about it, but I've never experienced it. I have Chihuahuas, and I was surprised at the fact that they had personalities. Like they rolled their eyes at me or they were upset at me. I didn't know dogs had personalities like that, but I wouldn't have known that had I never had a dog before. So for those people that have never had a dog, they can't explain like details about a dog or things that they did to train a dog. Or likewise for a person that has been in a relationship with a narcissist. If you've been in a long-term relationship with a narcissist, there are certain things that you're going to identify. Now let's talk about those that have been in a shorter relationship. There's still things that you can identify. It may not have been extreme as the person has been in it longer, that had severe trauma bonds that took a while to leave out of the relationship. For those that have been in a short-term relationship with a narcissist, you still felt the presence. It's almost like an insidious presence. Just you're dealing with a person that's not really a person. It's like watching a sci-fi movie. Like this person is not the person that they say that they are. Just some alien has taken over this body. But you still have some experience. And then you have those that have never had an experience in a narcissistic relationship. So they don't know what to look for. All they do is they hear what you're saying. They may see it, but they don't realize how serious narcissistic personality disorder is or narcissist abuse is because they've never experienced before. They may have even seen it, but in their minds, a lot of times, women and men can be very naive to jump in a relationship under the assumption that I know this may happen for them, but he's different from me because they don't know the nature of the narcissist. So having said that, let's talk about some signs, and I have a few sites. One of them is the Mind Journal. Is a journal written. I just like what before I usually come on, I always go and research like what people say and something that I may be thinking that I agree with, or things that I know that I've studied. And so usually I go, and blogs are not always, blogs are not, in other words, research papers. They're kind of the thoughts of the people, but a lot of the thoughts of the people and the experiences are very similar to ours. And so sometimes I like to go and look, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is so right, and then add my information to it. But this here, let's see, this is the Mind Journal. I like this Mind Journal, and so I'm gonna add to some of the things. I don't know who wrote it. The Mind Journal. I don't know, but there's some. So here's some warning signs, and I have some more sites. So one, ladies, men, if a person that you're dating within the first few weeks or just the first few months is ready to jump into marriage with you, that's a red flag.
Or ask you for money. Ask you to pay a bill. Somehow, some way. Red flag. Certain examples that she's going to give, I'm going to give my input from experience and what's going on in today in real time. I had the privilege of speaking with Dr. Carmen Bryant. A buddy of mine knows her. Shout out to K Spade. And when I was going through my time in a storm, my time in the wilderness, I'd rather say, I was searching for answers because I didn't know. He introduced me to her. Just the simple phone conversation. And she asked me a few questions. I answered those questions. Might I remind you, still going through a divorce at that time. I was smack in the middle of things. I was homeless, still going to work, still handling my handle, dealing with this. When she told me, this is who you married, I said, well, I'll be damned. So I began to do my research. Please go to her channel, subscribe to her channel. She has tons of videos. She's an expert with this. And the things that she said helped me, opened up my eyes, as well as seeking therapy. Because there was a lot to unravel. And I wasn't all the way there. It's a rough, scary situation to be in, dealing with someone like that.
Back up. The first thing you might want to put on your mind, and I'm not saying you walk around and just, assume that everybody is a narcissist. Everybody's not a narcissist. Some people are just arrogant, and some people are just stuck up. And not all abusers are narcissists. But every narcissist is an abuser, whether it's physical or emotional, psychological, but they're abusers. Quick proposals. So be aware when they already start planning your future, when they already start planning the wedding, when they already start telling people without your consent that you guys are engaged. They give you a ring. Question where that ring came from, but they give you a ring. Let's see. That was a sidebar. But let's see. You may get caught up in the emotions of that. For those that have never had an experience, that may be a good feeling. He fell in love with me. We fell in love. We just knew we had a connection. Oh, he's hunting you. Remember, you probably said too much. So you've created this ideal man. So he's hunting you. And there's something about you that he wants to. They don't get married because of love or relationship or the reasons why you should be getting married. They try to get married if there's a benefit in it. For some it's money. For some of it is prestige. For some of it is your material possessions.
And that was something that blew my mind. Because in my mind, when I marry, it's for love. But to know that I married someone deep down inside didn't feel the same way about me. They had a hidden agenda. And what I'm saying, it goes both ways, because I know there's a lot of women that go through this. There's a lot of men that go through this. When you're dealing with someone that's a narcissist, I'm going to tell you something. It's not nice. It's not healthy. I mean, individuals will take things to levels where it don't need to go. I never thought I'll be staring at a divorce. Not from a marriage that only lasted 14 months. Come on now. And when I share my testimony, because as my channel grows, okay, I have individuals emailing me with their questions and etc. It's like I can only give the best advice from what I've experienced. I don't have all the answers. But one thing that I stay focused on is having that men conversation. There's men out there that's going through it. There's men out there that are hurting. There's men out there that are sitting in silence. There's men out there that are crying. There's men out there where from the pit of their soul, but no one to hear. They're told to suck it up. They're told to get over it. Move on with your life. Forget about it. And then you hear it so much, you get angry. It's like, man just got hurt by a woman he gave his heart to. Never once did I step on my marriage. You talking to person that married you and accepted 4 of your kids. Most men ain't gonna do that. But see, it took for me to go through what I needed to go through in order to get here and build this platform and speak out and say, hell no, never again. Now, because I know better. When you know better, you do better.
If you have any, is your material possessions, but it will keep up their appearance. It will keep up their facade. It will keep up their fantasy. There's something that you have that they want. So they benefit in marrying you so that they can be engrafted into your world and live in your world and create their own little persona in their world. They live in a fantasy world. So be aware of quick proposals, quick marriage. Take your time. If you've been in an abusive relationship, these are some things you should know. Take your time. For those of you that have never been in a relationship like this, take your time. Sob stories. They're always giving you some sad sob story. How everybody has done them so wrong. How their ex has done them so wrong.
And the things that took place in their childhood. So that you can feel sorry for them. You can have some sympathy for them. In the back of their mind, they know what they're doing, and they know why they're doing it. You don't know why they're doing it, and you don't know their intentions. You see? Look at modern dating. Same damn traits. Let's continue.
How people and supervisors and managers have done them so wrong. They give you a little bit of information about themselves, but not really enough to understand how they played a role in whatever the sob story is. But it's always a sob story. They're very competitive people, and so you'll notice that if a person has a good self-esteem and self-awareness of themselves, and they cannot manipulate the person, or the person calls them out, be aware that all of a sudden you hear them talking about them. All of a sudden they have something negative to say about that individual.
Of course, because they can't get over on that person. They cannot get over on that individual. So therefore, what they do is they try to assassinate that individual's character. We've all experienced that. How many of you men and women experience that? You carry yourself in a certain way. They can't control you and manipulate you. So therefore, they talk shit about you. Try to get a rise out of you. Let's continue.
Because they're competitive and they won't let them engraft with them. They have something negative to say about the person, but everything is a sob story. Be aware. Listen to them. If they've been in relationships before, ask them how many times they've been married. And is it really always the other person's fault? What role did you play in that? Be aware of that. Pay attention to that. If you're not on bad terms with the ex, ask the ex. Hopefully the ex is able to tell you without, if you're an ex, don't lose your mind. Don't.
I guarantee you. And I've said this many moons. I guarantee you your ex will tell a different story than what the original person said. See, we call this accountability. Individuals do not want to take accountability for their actions or the part that they played in it. Just like modern dating. Just like modern women. Modern women do not want to take accountability for the part that they play in certain things. Make sense now? We're tying all this together for a reason. Let's continue.
Oh my gosh, I hate him and he does this, because then you make yourself look bad. 9 times out of 10, the new supply is probably not going to contact you. So just be aware. And it's not your responsibility to contact the new supply to tell the new supply about the narcissist. Just like you, it's a matter of time that you found out about the narcissist. Give them time. They'll find out about the narcissist. But remember, just be aware. They always have a sob story, and they always tend to be the victim. Everybody does them so wrong. People don't understand them. They're hating on them. They're not as intelligent as they are. There's always like some gaps in the stories. When you start thinking like there's always some gaps in the story, when you begin to question them, like, what did you do? And you notice them starting getting mad.
And see, that was the thing there. When certain individuals started asking my ex, what did she do? She got angry. She got mad. It was to the point where 4 different individuals that have known her for years, she stopped talking to. She stopped communicating with. Because she felt as though they took my side. It wasn't about taking sides. It was about y'all was getting along so well, had a beautiful wedding, etc. 14 months later, you just got done celebrating your first year wedding anniversary. And now this? What is going on? That's what it was about. I was even blindsided.
Or they'll change the topic and refocus the topic, or they'll focus back on what they, take that as a red flag. Why won't he talk about that? Why won't he go in detail? Whenever they tell a story, it's almost like something is missing out of the story. Let's go to the next one. Be aware, ladies and gentlemen, when they always tell you how much better you are than the ex. When they tell you, I've never met a woman or a man like you, you're so different. When they start pumping your head up to make you feel like you're the most special person in the whole world. I'm not saying you're not supposed to feel special, of course, but in reality, the ex was special too, until the time that they were discarded. And so, but be aware of all these over compliments. You're so and think about this. They always have something to say about your appearance, about how you do what you do for them, how you make them feel. It's never about your accomplishment. I really like the fact that you are really an awesome lady. You're an awesome guy. You're like really you are like a great conversationalist. I really love talking to you. I really love the knowledge that you have. You are really an awesome, incredible person. You're always, but when they look at when they look at you as think about it, when they're looking at you as an object, you're so pretty. And I've never had a woman like you before, and my ex was this, and my ex was that, and she never, and he never, and I was always,
Ladies, gentlemen, have y'all experienced this? If you have experienced this, please comment. Hopefully, this message tonight can hit home with you and sit well within you. Open up your eyes to some things. You may be going through it. You may be in the smack middle of it. You may be coming out of it. Or you about to go into it. I'm going to start doing more reactions of Dr. Carmen Bryan's videos, because we're going to get this word out. And it also will teach you, men, how to deal with modern feminist women. Okay? It will teach you how to deal with them. Like I've always highlighted, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be disrespectful. You just smile, pick up your shoulder pads and your helmet and you walk away. Some individuals, you don't need to give them that type of energy. Just get up and walk away. Especially when you already see, number one, it's not going anywhere. Number two, this individual doesn't service you.
Confused, and I was always mishandled or mistreated. I was always, and my ex and my exes, listen to what they're saying about their exes. Are all the exes just that bad?
Please put a number one in the chat.
Talking to you.
If you're in the chat room, if you're watching the video.
What about?
I appreciate the love.
So they're always talking about the negative aspects of the ex. What about when they're talking to you, you notice that they're always talking about their own accomplishment. They're always talking about, yes, you two talk, but you'll notice in the conversation, it'll always refocus itself on what they're doing, who they know, their accomplishment.
Just like if you're talking to a modern woman, what does she always talk about? Her education, her job, what she does. She has this. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a baddie. I'm this, that, and the third. All of these things. Now the blinders are starting to come on. Now the blinders are starting to come off. Now certain things are starting to make sense, man. Again, when you listen to these TikTok videos and you listen to how a large number of these women talk and behave, and you connect the dots with this, now it opens you up. Now you're like, wait a minute. Okay, now it's beginning to make sense to me.
What kind of education they have, what kind of accomplishment, what kind of job that they had, everything is always focused around them. And they always want you to clap or praise them. But you'll notice that even when you talk about yourself, like when they ask you a question, you start talking about yourself, it's almost like I'm asking you a question just so you can talk, but I'm really not paying attention to you. And if they're paying attention to you, they're not paying attention to you to create communication between the two of you. They're talking to you to get you to tell so that they know where they can infiltrate your soul. They want to know your weaknesses. They want to know some information about you so they know how to morph into what you need. If you're a doctor and you talk about the hospital and the procedures you do in the hospital, and oh my gosh, if you notice, they'll ask you particular questions about your field. And when you begin to talk about it, it's almost like, oh my gosh, he knows so much. No, you just told him so much. Or now he's going to research to be able to put himself on the same level as you. Eventually, it'll even get to the point where you got the education in that area. You may be a doctor or a lawyer, but by the time they're done talking to you, it almost feels like you don't know anything. They know more than you do, but they never got the education. They don't have the credential to back up what they're saying, but they're so much smarter than you.
I got a homeboy that's like that. I got a homeboy that acts and moves and talks just like that, knowing damn well his ass ain't on that level. But he would have the average person thinking that until he come across that one that will see through him and call him out. Now he don't want to entertain being in that individual's presence.
But they'll keep on talking about their own accomplishment, and they always indirectly demand appraisal by the people that they're talking to, and because they're so engrossed in themselves. They're not really interested in what you're saying. They just want to hear what you have to say to pick what they need in order to be what you need them to be in order to pull you. But if you ever notice when you're talking to them, at first it feels like, oh, they are so attentive. Pay attention to their attentiveness. Because eventually you'll start feeling like, it feels like I'm talking, but the person, they're just there, but they're not. It's almost like they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. They're just there, and they're taking up the time, but they're really not listening. Because 9 times out of 10, when you talk to them, you may have to repeat something over and over again within time. I don't like this. I told you I don't like this. I don't like this. I told you I don't like this. I've had a gentleman tell me that he knew his wife didn't like that, but he didn't care. So it didn't matter. I don't care. Even though she kept telling him there was something that she didn't like. So they hear you, but it doesn't matter. You don't matter. They matter. Let me see. All the topics go back to him or her. And he only talks about I, me, and myself. and whatever you discuss will eventually come down to him. Each and everything in this world will have a connection to his life, and he will then talk about it. This is not just boring, but it also shows how self-centered a person is. A self-centered person can never love anyone but themselves, so be careful. Go back and listen to the video I did on Narcissist, soul hunters. He's affected emotionally by each and every little thing in this world. If the store is closed, they get angry. Watch it, because a lot of times it doesn't come out in the very beginning. But anything that you have no control over, they'll get angry about. The store closed. Now they're angry and in a rage.
Or they take on someone else's problems. They will take on someone else's issues and make it theirs. Now, what has happened, that individual took on somebody else's problems, took on somebody else's issues, and brought it home. So now your peace has been disrupted by what your partner brought home from the outside. Now you got to deal with that.
It's raining too heavy. They're angry, like as if you have some way of changing the weather, because they had something planned. Now they're angry at the weather, as if that can change. But you see how it's all centered around them? I'm going to do something, so I don't understand why it's raining or snowing, or now we're blocked in. The snow, the streets are snowed, but they still want to drive in hazardous snow or hazardous. But because of the fact that the streets are so horrible and bad, somehow or another it's going to be your fault. Something out of, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but somehow or another, it's going to end up being your fault. Something, we could have left earlier. We wouldn't have to. Yeah, it's been snowing for days, but if we left earlier, we wouldn't have to run into this, and it's almost like traveling with them.
The blame game. I'm going to find some way, somehow, to blame you for what I've done. Blame you for the choices and decisions that I made. It had nothing to do with you, but I'm going to blame you for it. I'm going to nitpick. If I don't have something to throw flame at you, I'm going to create something and throw flame on you.
Becomes almost, you want to just jump out the car while they're driving. This is how they are. They get upset about everything. Each and every little thing that happens seems to trigger their emotions, and they will be upset. This not only brings negativity into your relationship, but also shows how insensible he or she is for not understanding the situation. They have no emotional regulation, and they also have a lack of, I have to think of the word. They have the inability to control they have self-gratification. They have to have self-gratification. They cannot control instant self-gratification, and they have a problem with regulating their emotions. If you ever seen a little kid have a temper tantrum on the floor and kick their feet, well, that's normal, because a parent has to teach the child how to use their words and how to talk. And you probably discipline your child for having a temper tantrum in the middle of the store or whatever. Imagine a child growing up into a 15-year-old, 60-year-old man that has temper tantrum, and the only thing you're waiting for them to do is just to throw themselves on the floor and start kicking their feet. That's how.
And they do that already. When you watch certain videos, you see more women throwing temper tantrums, crashing out, destroying items, more than men do. Not to say men don't do that, but you have a large number of women that do that. And there's videos out there to prove it. Why are you throwing a temper tantrum? Because you're not getting your way. These modern feminist women, they feel some type of way when they don't get their way. Think about it. You see how I'm tying it together? You see how I'm connecting the dots?
Bad they get over things that you have no control over, or they have no control over. You better be there whenever they want you to be there. So if you fail to meet him or her, let me see. They get upset because you failed to meet them where you need to, and you may have things going on during the day. You may be a busy woman, a lawyer, a doctor, or whatever. Not even a lawyer and a doctor, anything. You have a job, you have to pay your bills. But if you can't stop what you're doing to go wherever they're at and they're calling you at that time, they'll get upset. They'll make you feel bad about not doing, even though you may lose money, they don't care.
You have to cater to them. You have to wait on them hand and foot. You have to put them on a high pedestal. In parentheses. They need to be your first priority. The moment you wake up every morning, it needs to be about them. No, it don't happen that way. How dare you tell me no? See?
You need to stop what you're doing so they can get what they want right then. Let me see. Okay, let's go to the next one. So, let's see. On the quick and dirty tips, do things better. I like these two. You'll notice that, when you meet them and you talk to you got to really pay attention to what they're saying. Pay attention. They have this habit of name dropping. They name drop as to who they're associated with, who they know, who they've worked with, when they go into social organizations, they try to get close to the presidents or, the people at the top. In their minds, they want to take over their position, but they can't figure out how to do it. So they try to get close so they can be associated with that person so that they can appear to be on the same level as that person is. They try to associate themselves with power and beauty or fame. Even tell you who they know in the entertainment industry or wherever.
Have you experienced something like that? Please drop it in the comment. Have you dealt with someone, man or woman, have you dealt with someone that moved in that way? Please share. I want to know. Let's continue.
And this is a lot of it. They may have met someone in passing, but now they know them. So pay attention to that. They associate themselves with prestigious institutions, name brands, events. Pay attention to that. When they always associate, but they don't have a lot of proof, or it may be in passing. You wave at Oprah Winfrey, but all of a sudden now you're Oprah Winfrey's cousin, or me and Oprah Winfrey grew up on the same block, or me and her used to have a great conversation, and I was telling her that. Come on, pay attention to that. But a lot of those stories are very believable though, because they're charming and they're very convincing. So very, very charming and convincing people. So it's very easy to believe. If you don't have any experience and you're kind of on the younger side of the, on the younger side of the age spectrum, and you don't have a lot of experience with this type of, dysfunctional personality disorder, for you is going to be, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. But if someone can make you feel good really, really quick, you might want to question it, back up a little bit, and safeguard yourself. Too fast. Another one is look on their Facebook page, or look if they have a whole lot of selfies and they're always posing. They're always, they're always posing. They're always trying to get attention.
What do we see? Men, what do we see? From Instagram to TikTok, what do we see? A large number of women taking them damn selfies, and some of them be using filters. And you know it's a problem when they take those selfies from the waist up. Y'all know the ones I'm talking about, because they're insecure about their body. So the fuck what? Be yourself. But you have a large number of women taking selfies. Everywhere they go, they got to take a selfie. Everywhere they go, they need to let it be known. They at the restaurant. This is the type of food they're eating. They went out for drinks. This is the type of drinks that they ordered. They went shopping. This is where they went shopping at. This is what the fuck they bought. It never ceases to amaze me. Let's continue.
They're, showing off their name brand. They're showing off their car. They're showing off their house. And it may not be their house, because I've seen some Instagram pictures where the person was bragging about their house, and I knew for a fact that that was not their house because I personally knew them. And I said, I'm not going to say anything, but, be aware of that too, because
I've seen individuals lean up against other people's vehicles and said it was theirs, or go to the damn car dealership and take a selfie up against that Lambo, up against that Ferrari, up against that Maybach, and talk about, look what I just bought. The fuck out of here.
Claim things that is not theirs, cars that they that they don't have, or they're even materialistically buy things or invest in things that they cannot financially afford. So they'll go without eating or feeding their families in order to maintain this reputation that they have. So they're always trying to connect with someone that has something to help them maintain this image or to impress you, but even look on their selfies, vacations that they're taking, you have to get to know this person. Don't let them rush and lock you in, because later on you'll discover the things that you were looking at weren't real. Let's see. They inflate themselves and devalue others. So narcissists get particularly bitter if they sense they haven't been adequately recognized for their talent, performance, or general awareness. As a result,
they get jealous. It's almost like a modern feminist black woman would sit up there and get mad at a woman of another race because that woman of another race chose that black man. And I'm saying it. Or that same modern feminist black woman would get mad when that black man choose another black woman, because that black man ain't choosing her. So she's bitter, she's angry. She goes on TikTok and makes a video. I need validation. I need someone to have sympathy for me. I need attention. Now it's starting to click. Now it's starting to make sense. Okay, you're not convinced? Let's continue.
There are a lot of bitter narcissists out there. They think their time to shine is long overdue and genuinely wonder why they're not on the red carpet or on the A-list. So if you don't worship the ground that they walk on, or if you don't, help make them look good, or you continue to tell them how wonderful they are, you're basically an enemy. They want to be idolized, so they don't care if you like them or not. They don't care how you feel. All the attention needs to be on me. All the focus is on me, on what I've done. They'll take credit for what you've done. If you've bought a house, if you bought a nice car, if you have a certain lifestyle or certain bank account, when they connect with you, you'll notice they'll start taking credit of stuff that we did. We did this, and this is and this is what we did and how.
And that's why I say to successful men and women, there's nothing wrong with getting a prenup. There's nothing wrong with that, because of this right here.
How we did this an hour, and I did this. Eventually it turns out I did this for her, or I did this for him. And then you have to go back and look like, wait a minute, I did that. But they'll take credit for what you've done. But they need to be called out. Call them out. But be prepared, you're going to fight. Whether it's emotionally or whether it's going to be in being demeaned or tormented. And we're still going to talk about that.
I went through it. But see, I didn't back down. When my ex tried to assassinate my character, certain individuals, of course, believed her because their friendship Cool. But there were some that were like, nah, something ain't right. Something's not adding up. I think I went on Facebook and I said, I'm sorry, everyone, but we're getting a divorce. Never said no names. But it took one of my coaches to call me up and to tell me to take that down. That's not how you do things. For every action is a reaction. But when an individual has hurt you, has broken your heart, has took your heart out of your body, stomped on it, and put 2 clips in it, and then put it back in your body, it's a painful feeling. Don't get me wrong. I love marriage. I love being with one person. Going to bed, waking up, going to family functions, spending the holidays with. But what do you do when you give your heart to someone and they abuse it? Not deeper than an abuse. They break it. They break your heart. They smash it into pieces and then put your heart back in your hands.
They need the best of everything. They deserve the best of everything. That's how their mind is set. There's no such thing as working your way up there. I deserve the best of everything, even if I have to fake it to make people think that I have the best of everything. So it got to be the best doctor, best lawyer, best personal trainer, best hairstylist. They have to go into the gym and they have to get bigger than the average guy. They have to, if you're sexy, I have to be super sexy, So everything that they do is competition. They have to have the best of everything, drive the most luxurious cars, whether they can afford it or not, take you to the best restaurants, whether their credit card bill is going to be declined. Somehow or another, you'll end up paying for it. I got you. Don't worry about it. My sincerest apologies. Got to be at the best table at the restaurant. When we go places, we deserve the best. They'll include you in it. You're like, yeah, you're right. We deserve the best. Let's see. What's some more on here? Computer's a little slow, I'm sorry. They're charming and attractive. So like I said at first, for women that have a hole in their heart, for those of you that just have to be with a man, have to be with someone, and you think that they are going to fulfill you. If I'm with you, I'll be fulfilled. If I'm with you, I feel 100%. Well, you already did.
It's being with the individual for the wrong reasons. And anytime you get with someone for the wrong reasons, it's not going to work out the way you plan. It's not going to work out good for you because you already leaning in with the wrong intentions. I always tell people, be mindful of the intentions that you're leaning in with when you are getting to know someone. If you're trying to get to know a woman and money is one of the first conversations that come out of her damn mouth, or how much a man has to spend on a first date, there shouldn't even been no discussion after that. You should be picking up your shoulder pads and your helmet and walking away. If you meet a dude and all he talking about is bending you over and clapping cheeks, and y'all ain't went nowhere and did nothing, ma'am, you need to walk away. You need to pick up your shoulder pads and your damn helmet and walk away. Find out, men, women, find out one's intentions with you. What are your intentions with me? There it is. And hey, if it's about sex, be honest about it. If it's about a committed relationship that lead to marriage, be honest about it. If you just want to be friends, be honest about it. At the end of the day, be honest, open, and clear about your intentions with the individual.
Destined, you are already destined to tragedy. You already are headed toward a head-on collision, because no one can fulfill that empty spot. You have to work on that. No one can fill that empty spot. And a narcissist is like the last person that you would ever assume that would fill that empty spot. They are, it's almost like they're a walking empty black hole. No matter what you do, no matter how much you try to please them, they're never satisfied, they're never pleased, they just leak out. And it's because of their own traumatic past, their own dysfunctional personality. That's a personality disorder. Remember, I told you that you can't change. Can't change that. It's permanent. But they are very charming, very attractive. They will flatter you. They will make you feel good about yourself. Girl, you know you cute. You know you are a beautiful lady. Hey, watch that. Because that's what they use. And if you fall into that and you like that and you come around looking for the compliments, they know that's a what is it, bait and hook. They'll pull you, they'll reel you in like that. They know that you're superficial. You're superficial. They start many relationships at one time. It's almost like they're fishing. They cast out a net and they start a lot of relationships to figure out which one needs to be the main source of supply and which one is the other supply that I can get money from, that I can get attention from, that I can get sex.
How we see that. We see that in modern women today. They will have one man for food, one man for bills, one man for their hair and their nails. And they know what to do between those men. Then you got the man over here to give them allowance. So now she got 4 different dudes that has specific roles and duties. And all she got to do is give them some ass. Ass for cash. Let's continue.
Sex from that, they're never alone. Now, when they get older, a lot of times, not all narcissists cheat. And some women wish they would, but not all narcissists cheat. But they usually have some narcissistic supply, everywhere. And the older that they get, sometimes the more angry, the more bitter, and they push people away and they're very lonely. So the person that they're connected to gets the heat of all that abuse. The heat of all that abuse. And I've heard women say, I wish he would have an affair and just leave. And I'm working with that. They're always looking for the next best thing. Remember I was talking about, in another video, I can't recall which video it was, but remember the feeling of your first new car? How that leather smelled, you're looking at that car. That's how narcissists see new supply. And when that leather smell kind of dwindles, the seats get a little, used up, you have mileage on the car and everything, and you kind of used it up, and
they replace you. You are then replaceable. It's just your turn. It's just your turn. When I'm done, I'll walk away from you. I'll end it. I'll give you some sob story like it's not working out. I have to cut ties with you. I'm practicing self-love, self-care. I'm not ready. Some fucking lame excuse. And you have some that would just straight out ghost you. Block you on social media, block your number. Because that's who they are. I'm talking to men and women. Whoever you with, that's just how they are. That's just how they operate. That's their pattern. Just like it was your turn, it's the next man's turn. When she's done with that man, it's going to be another man's turn. Or vice versa. Another woman's turn.
you're not impressed with the car anymore, they go look for another car. So they go look for another human source of supply because it serves a purpose. It gives them that adrenaline rush. It gives them that feeling of euphoria, those dopamines, remember? So once that calms down, they have to go look for another fix. It's like a drug addict. They have to go look for another fix. And every time the fix get greater and greater and greater. And a lot of them are very perverse in their thinking, in their minds. They're very perverse. A lot of them are addicted to pornography. And of those of you that know about porn addiction, the more you get into porn addiction, the less a person can do for you because you are addicted to an image. And in your
Or if you are a woman, you use your fingers, you use your dildo, you use your rolls, you rely more on temporary satisfaction versus having the real thing. Paraphrasing. And individuals that move in that way, this is how they move. Case in point, I didn't know why my wife at that time would keep a dildo. Why do that and you got the real thing? See, with all of those things going on, you wonder why. One either had a past of being promiscuous or currently promiscuous. Again, all of these things are tying in to what we're currently experiencing in real time. Shout out to the people that's watching online in this live stream. Please put a number 1 in the chat so I know you understanding and you feeling me. And whatever your relationship experiences has been, share it with your boy. This is the main reason why I started this platform, especially for men. Because men go through this exact same thing, but they're not talking. And I hope by them seeing this, now they can start talking. We need to start exposing this thing. Men hurt, men bleed, men have feelings too. The things that men deal with on a day-to-day basis. Even my Middle Eastern brothers. Your boy Big Truck love you and support you. When it comes to men, we backing each other up. We supporting each other. We motivating each other. We uplifting each other. We are building each other up. And the more I see men doing that, that is a powerful thing. Let's continue.
Your mind, you're expecting people to be that image. And self-gratification and masturbation, the more you self-gratify, the less another person can gratify you because you are fixated on yourself, self-love.
But let me say this too. Let me make this point. I opened up the doors for conversation for women too. Because you got women that go through this. Okay? You got women, good women, out there putting in work, get treated like shit. Like you got good men out there putting in work, getting treated like shit. I'm quite sure women, a larger number of women or some women or most women, whatever the case may be, have a testimony too of what their past experience was like dealing with the narcissist. Just like men have a testimony of what it's like dealing with the narcissist. Both have a testimony. And when you hear both stories, and then you kind of pick a little bit from here and there, and you incorporate it with what's going on in today with dating, you'll be mind blown.
Some narcissists will admit that they're narcissists and some won't. When you begin to figure out a narcissist, they begin to hate you or they try to get away from you. And be prepared, they'll talk about you like a dog, because you figured them out. And when you stand up to a narcissist, be prepared, they will fight you back. They will fight you back, and they will make you look bad in front of your community, in front of your church, in front of your job,
What my ex did was try to make me look bad in front of her family and friends. See, she tried in front of my family and friends, but they already saw through her because they know me. But even some of her friends still speak to me till this day because she no longer socializes with them because they connected the dots. They saw something wasn't right. See? An individual single-handedly destroyed her marriage. I'm talking about your boy Big Truck was homeless, sleeping in my car, still having to go to work, going through a divorce, still had to take care of the home, trying to do the right thing, fight for my marriage. The more I fought for my marriage, I was treated like shit, like trash on the street. Now I see how other women feel. Now I see how other men feel. I mean, it was bad. It was disrespectful. It was degrading. It was humiliating. I was embarrassed. But you know what? God don't like ugly. Things started happening. My life started turning around. And now I'm in a much better place. I got 97,000 YouTube subscribers. Because I have truth and word in me, and I'm going to get it out there. Because there are individuals out there that want to hear a good word. They want to hear that message. I don't do feel good. I put the truth in proper perspective, and we talk about it like adults, and we have fun with it.
In front of, they'll work very, very hard to make you look bad because you figured them out and you put up standards. Your standards and your boundaries offend them because they can't have your way. You have to put up your standard. You have to put up boundaries. Let's see. So remember.
And it took me a while. It took me a while to put up standards and boundaries and set my limitations. And now that I do that, I preach that to everyone, especially the men, my brothers from another mother. Start setting your boundaries. Start setting your limitations. Whatever your preference is, state your preference. I don't give a fuck what people say. People are going to always have something to say. Tell them get used to it.
They have this insatiable need for attention. They're extremely selfish. They like to create drama. Oh, they're going to create some drama. Be prepared. Sometimes they'll talk loud, make sure they're seen. One of the biggest things is like showing up fashionably late to events so they can be the only one that walks in a room and everybody pays attention to them. And then they're very dramatic in their dress. They have to have the best this. They're going to make sure that you see their car, the woman or the man that they have on their arm. So they'll come late to events just so everybody can see them and they're not a part of the crowd. Unpleasant verbal behavior. They love to hear their own voice. This one here is from the Narcissist life. And they love to hear their own voice. They love to hear themselves talk. They talk. Even when, you about 5 minutes, you're not even paying attention to them anymore unless it's a really good conversation where both of you guys are in the conversation. But a narcissist loves to hear themselves talk, especially if they're trying to convince you to change your mind about something. You put your boundaries up, they will talk to you for hours to get you to change your mind about your own boundaries and safeguards for yourself. That's where it comes into abuse, where they prevent you from going to sleep. So sleep deprivation, food, they take food, they lock you in rooms. And we'll talk about that later, because some of you, I know, just saying that is like that's my story. I got it. Sometimes they're very sexual in their conversation, and not all of them. Let's see.
I hope these is very, very helpful. And I hope that it's giving you clarity to maybe what you are already feeling, what you are already seeing, what you are already thinking. And then watching this gave clarity. Now the light bulb is on. Now you're sitting back saying, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. I'm experiencing the same things that Dr. Carmen Bryant is talking about. And listening to Big Truck's testimonies, I've experienced some of those things. That's what it's all about. Each one teach one.
They always want to maintain power in an interaction, so they use their own voice. Excuse me, let me get a napkin. Excuse me, you guys.
Gotta watch that nose. Gotta take care of that nose.
Season is changing in the state of Washington, and my nose is feeling it. I apologize. So, but their language. They always want to maintain control in the conversation, even if it's a topic and they don't really know a lot about the topic. They're going to give you their opinions, and their opinions matter. I even read somewhere in an article where one narcissist says that in his mind he really believes that when he walks out of the room doesn't exist anymore. Think about that. That's a narcissist. When I walk out of a room, the room doesn't exist anymore. So they walk out of the room with you, you guys don't exist anymore until he appears back into that room.
Or when a modern woman says, all eyes on me, every man want me, I can have any man. No, you can't. And no, you won't.
Isn't that arrogant? That's horrible. They have a problem with apologizing. They'll give you superficial apologies for things that's easy to apologize for, but when it comes to really getting in depth with an apology and really taking responsibility and accountability for their actions, they have a problem with doing it, and they won't. They'll turn the conversation back around to you and how you.
That's exactly what my ex did. Did not take accountability whatsoever, but tried to turn it around on me. But then I turned it right back around on her. And boy, the facial micros. I experienced that exact same thing.
You played that role. To have an apologize to a person, but they're always, but you did this though, but you did this, or I wouldn't have done that, have this not, so be prepared. They have a really hard time apologizing.
And when you look at how modern women are, accountability is kryptonite to them. They cannot take accountability whatsoever. And we see that.
They're flashy and overconfident. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are flashy and overconfident. Always have to be seen, always have to be heard. They're disrespectful. Listen to their conversations. And they'll make it seem like I was just joking. Oh my gosh, you are so sensitive. Listen to what they're saying, because they do like some undercurrent.
Don't just listen to what they say. Listen to how they say what they say.
Low blows. They'll say little things and you don't like, did you just say that? Girl, I was just joking with you. But those jokes, they're being serious. They're just trying to see how you respond to it. Pay attention and listen. They love competition. They're going to compete. They'll compete with a woman. They'll compete with a child, y'all. A child. If there's something that they don't know how to do, they will focus so long on something until they.
My ex was jealous of my relationship with her daughter because her daughter clinged to me. Like, how do you get jealous of your own child like that? But see, again, I didn't think of it that way at first. But the more I got counseling, the more the smoke cleared, I was able to see things. And I was blown away at the things that I saw.
They perfect it. They believe that they have to be the best at everything, but they will actually compete. A grown narcissist will actually compete with a child, and even compete with the child for the attention of the parent, male and female, and will be jealous over the child. Let's see. They love competition, but they're very poor losers. So when they lose, they make you feel like poop. They will dog you out as it was, you didn't win because you know how to do it. You're not skilled to do it. That was a coincidence. There's no possible way you could have. They're poor listeners. They present themselves as very good listeners, but remember, they don't try to connect with you the same way that the average person tries to connect with you. When they're listening to you, they're listening for your weaknesses. So hopefully,
so they can use it against you.
That gave you some information, how to identify. Let's see. They're really not interested in other people unless you can serve a purpose for them. They lack empathy. We've already established that. They're always living this fantasy world. So they've created this fantasy world for themselves, and then they present this fantasy world to you. And for some of us, we're naive and we believed it. So for the older ladies or older gentlemen that have been through many years of this type, this is something that you're aware of now. Prove it to me. Really, let's look. They disregard rules. Rules and laws don't apply to them. They make up their own rules. You have to follow the rules. You have to follow the laws and regulations and protocols. But for me, the narcissist means I can move those rules and to make them fit me, make them fit, and they will always take something and make it fit their agenda. They'll take rules and laws and twist it so it'll fit and justify their behavior or their agenda. They frequently explain why someone who is better known than them is really not that great. They spend a lot of energy convincing you that the world loves them, that people have more respect for them and not for you. Be aware of that. Hopefully this has helped a little bit.
And I let it go a little bit longer so she can get that out. And as I close, I want to say this. Men, women, your experiences, please share it in a comment. And let's get this word out together. Like the video, comment. If you hadn't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I have some amazing content coming. All right? And share the video. Let's begin to do it. I'm going to be doing a lot of live stream on this particular topic because most don't talk about it. So most don't know. You have some that do. But it's like in today's dating, we see those same traits within individuals. Now that we see some of these traits within these individuals, now we can begin to call that thing out. Until then, be kind to yourself and kind to others. Love yourself and love others. It's your boy, Big Truck. Conversation and reviews. The King's Table. You know where it's at. Let's go.